Well, Major Aditya's father, a major-ranked army officer named in the case in Jammu and Kashmir that involved the deaths of 3 men in the state, has now approached the Supreme Court. His lawyer speaks to my colleague Vishnu Shom. Let's listen.
Well, joining us now, Aishwarya Bhatti, the lawyer representing the father of Major Aditya. Thanks very much, Aishwarya, for speaking to us. Now, Major Aditya's father is a serving lieutenant colonel in the army. Is that right? And does he have the support of the army as he pursues his son's case?
Yes, Vishnu, Lt Colonel Karamveer Singh is himself a decorated, even Kargil war veteran and still serving in the army. And this petition has been filed by Colonel Karamveer Singh on behalf of his son, Major Aditya, who's based in the valley, as we all know, and is not in a position to come and sign and swear all, pursue the petition. So the father is filing on behalf of Major Aditya.
And Aishwarya, on what grounds are you filing this?
So essentially it is a petition under Article 32 of the Constitution of India, and it is for protection of the valuable fundamental rights which are enshrined and guaranteed to every citizen of the country, irrespective of whether they are serving officers or soldiers in the army. The main prayer that we are seeking is quashing of the FIR that has been registered against Major Aditya, has been named in that FIR. So we have prayed for quashing of that FIR since it violates all norms of, the existing law. It is actually, it amounts to, booking people who are soldiers who are in exercising their bona fide duty to uphold the dignity of the Indian flag. And actually it does not name people who ought to have been named, who were indulging in these anti-national and terrorist activities, stopping officers and soldiers who were in a convoy from discharging their duties. Their weapons were snatched, there were injuries, etc. The factual accounts are already there. So we feel that this FIR has been wrongly filed, and the FIR ought to have been against the actual culprits who were doing it.
But Aishwarya, there is a counter FIR as well which was filed by the army against unnamed people. So there was a legal process which was continuing. Did you not have faith in that legal process of what the army was doing to try and protect its officer?
Vishnu, the process that we have, knocked the doors of the Honorable Supreme Court is also a legal process that is available to anybody for quashing of the FIR. And when ex facie and prima facie, the FIR has been lodged, criminal justice system has been set in motion against an officer who was exercising his bona fide duties. It has much wider repercussions apart from just, fundamental rights of one particular soldier. It has a very numbing effect on the morale of the forces, and somewhere it has the potential of jeopardizing the national security, integrity and sovereignty that these soldiers are upholding.
What about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act? Was Major Aditya not protected by that? And if he was protected, was there really a need to file this FIR?
So yes, that is one of the grounds that we have taken, that army does not operate in civilian areas without the authority that is given obviously by the civilian government, and in this case the Armed Forces Special Powers Act was very much in force. The entire exercise took place in terms of the operation of that law. That law is very, very regimented. It provides for complete safeguards for bona fide actions. However, despite that act having been in force, an FIR to be lodged in such a manner, and the kind of statements that have come up from higher ups in the administration as well as the political class really leaves us, we felt it was imperative for us to move the Honorable Supreme Court because otherwise it would leave, and one of the prayers that we are also seeking is formulation of guidelines so there is no harassment in future of soldiers and officers who are exercising their bona fide duties. And, we all talk about fundamental rights of everybody else. It is not like the Indian Army officers and soldiers who are upholding the dignity of the flag, upholding the national sovereignty and integrity. Their fundamental rights can be discounted or countenanced in any manner.
Was Major Aditya not at that site?
Sorry?
Was Major Aditya not in the area where the soldiers opened fire.
That?
Can you hear me now?
No, yes, see, that version has already come out. Major Aditya was leading this convoy that was going. He was not actually at the place of this incident that has happened. The convoy had been divided into two portions. We have narrated the entire factual matrix, and he was actually in the front portion of the convoy that had gone forward. And here the attack was, one JCO had actually gotten down to try to negotiate and reason with the hostile crowds and mob who were doing stone pelting and stopping the convoy. But when that JCO himself was manhandled, his weapon was sought to be snatched, and there were injuries to a few soldiers there then only. And you know, all the operation, the army version has also come out that the entire operation has been carried out in terms of the standard operating provisions of the army. So once an action has been done like that, it is a complete bona fide action. There is no question of the criminal justice system having been set in motion. Yeah. That is why we are here before the Supreme Court.
Now, the Kashmir government has already reacted on record to your decision to go to the Supreme Court. They say that they're going to fight through this. They believe that there has been a fundamental injustice to the people who died over there. One of the reasons which have been mentioned is that a few of them at least received gunshot wounds to the head. So the argument which has been raised by some is that these soldiers should not have done that, should not have shot to kill.
So we have this petition. The first respondent is the state of Jammu and Kashmir through the Secretary Home. Once the Supreme Court takes cognizance of our petition, which we are hopeful they definitely will, because we feel that our petition raises issues not just of valuable fundamental rights, but the impact, the numbing impact it is going to have, it is already having on the morale of the forces, and the fact that this has direct connection with the national security, sovereignty and integrity of our country. So once the Supreme Court takes cognizance and notices are issued, I'm sure the J&K government will respond, and whatever stand they have officially before, they will bring it before the court, and the court will adjudicate on that. We are before the court on very, very specific points on the remedy that is available to us under the Indian Constitution, and which is not diluted in any manner just because we are, the person happens to be an army officer or a soldier.
One final question. Was there a sense in the family of Major Aditya that the army was not doing enough or potentially couldn't do enough to protect him, which is why they've approached you?
I'm not sure if it's a sense of disgruntlement in any form from the army. You can see that Major Aditya himself is a second generation soldier. This is a family that is, Fauji families. I myself am a Fauji daughter, so I know Fauji families, for them national ethos and national integrity, national sovereignty is something that is, we live with it. It's inbred in these families. So there is no sense of disconnect, but it is not like, you can have, so anybody who comes to the court otherwise for vindication of their valuable fundamental rights does not mean that you give up on the system. It's that you are coming to the court because you want this particular measure to be taken, and the Supreme Court is available to you. The Constitution guarantees you that remedy. So I wouldn't say it's so much of of discontentment from the army. I wouldn't be in a position to say that. But yes, we are here for the rights that that are guaranteed to us, and since there are much larger issues, just not our rights, but like I mentioned, morale of the forces, and ultimately being linked to the national sovereignty, the dignity of the Indian flag. Therefore, we felt that the issues need to be raised at highest level. We've also sought prayers for framing of guidelines so that no further harassment happen for soldiers and officers who are performing their bona fide duties to uphold the dignity of the Indian flag.
Aishwarya Bhatti, thank you very much for speaking to us.